Welcome to Zip Life Motivation Podcast, brought to you by 101.5 Indie Radio, your home of independent voices and authentic stories. My name is Damasha K. I am your host, here to help you unlock potential, break through barriers holding you back, and motivate you into success, power, love, strength, anything else that comes with that. That's what I'm here to do, to motivate you and empower you and encourage you and let you know, like, you can do this. You can do this thing called life. You can definitely do this thing called life. So today's topic, right? Today's topic is going to be one that many of us can probably relate to. And I'm not going to even say probably. I know that we can relate to this because at some point in our life, we have self-sabotage. We have. Whether you want to admit it or not, whether you want to realize that you did it, we did this before. I'm going to say we did it because I'm guilty myself of self-sabotaging myself through different things in my life based off my fears or based off of traumas, or it doesn't even matter. Just consciously doing it like, that's not going to work out, so I'm just not going to do it. Self-sabotaging. We hold ourselves back from more than what we think we hold ourselves back. So as y'all know, though, as we dig deep into this self-sabotaging, I like to give a basic definition of what self-sabotaging is. So just simply put, though, because we ain't going to read the definition out of the dictionary. Y'all know how I am. Sometimes I want to pull the dictionary out because it's important for us to know what these words mean. But simply put, self-sabotaging is when you consciously or unconsciously prevent yourself from achieving your goals. It shows up in so many ways, like in your procrastination, in your perfectionism, in your overthinking, negative self-talk, or even destructive habits. Because we can have some destructive habits, you know what I'm saying? Overspending or avoiding responsibility. And I think avoiding responsibility is a big one, but I also think that one pairs with procrastination, because sometimes we procrastinate on our responsibilities. But just a quick story so we can get into this. A quick story of how I self-sabotage so I don't forget to tell y'all later. So a friend of mine once trained like for months to do a marathon, right? Trained for months to do this marathon. But a week before this race, they convinced themselves like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not ready to do this. And no matter how much I tried to motivate and encourage and like empower, like, listen, you can do this. You can do this. They were like, no, I'm not going to be able to do this. And I'm like, you can do this thing. Like, you can do it. Anyway, they decided that they were not going to even participate in this race, just based off their fears, just based off the fear. So once they decided, like, I'm not going to participate in this race because I just don't think I can do it, that's when the self-sabotaging came in. That's when it came in. And from that, all these years, this was a few years ago, all these years, they have still regretted not going to the race. Because now you have these questions of like, what if this happened? What if that happened? I could have did this. I could have did that. I don't know. You don't even know. But when you start self-sabotaging, you start taking yourself out the game. I always tell people that life is a roll of the dice because you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get. Even if you can predict the future, you might feel something or you might, I don't know. But then that might be something that's based off of fear. So sometimes you have to just like step out there and do it. The truth is, self-sabotaging is often like, it's so subtle because sometimes you see it, but then other times you don't see it. Like it could be, it could be like you watching a movie and You watch the movie all the way through, and then somebody come back and tell you, "Did you see when that man tied his shoe with his toenail?" I don't know, something I'm just giving a crazy example. And you like, "I didn't see that. I saw that movie like 3 times. I never seen that." And then they play that part for you. That's how subtle self-sabotaging is. I just wanna take just a quick pause because I want you to reflect, like, as we begin to talk about what self-sabotaging is, I want you kinda to reflect on how you think of self-sabotaging. Think of some things that you have done to self-sabotage. Think of like one area in your life where you're not seeing progress, right? You're not seeing any progress in this area of your life. Is there something you might be doing or avoiding? Is there something keeping you stuck? Ask yourself that just for a second. Is there an area right now that I can't, I feel fear, I feel frustration, I don't know what's gonna happen. I think a lot too of self-sabotaging has to do with control, with control. Because sometimes we want to control our environments. We want to, and not even our environments, we want to control what's going to happen next. And I always say this thing, and I always tell people, like, you are only in control of you. You cannot control what someone else does. You can only control who you are and what you do. But based off of what they do, now you have to make another decision. Self-sabotaging does not happen for no reason. A lot of times it's something deep within tied to fear, tied to a limited belief, um, or a subconscious mind. And so one thing about this subconscious mind though, y'all, let's talk about this subconscious mind for a second. Because this subconscious mind is like this is like a irritating baby brother. You know, it's like you know it's there, but you absolutely can do nothing about that baby brother irritating you, or that baby sister, or somebody like you just can't because they're not going to go anywhere. So this subconscious mind is not going to go anywhere, and it's very irritating because what that subconscious mind does is it holds on to everything negative that has happened in your life. And so when your subconscious mind realizes that you are in a situation and it looks similar, it starts bringing up all those negative things that happen, everything negative that happened. So per se, just an example, say that um you were in a motorcycle accident, right? You were in a motorcycle accident on Fifth and Helm. So everywhere else you were safe. You didn't have a problem riding your motorcycle. But every time you get to Fifth and Helm, it's like you freeze up. Like you avoid it. You don't want to go to it. You like, I'm not going down there. Everybody, your friends call me like, Leo, we on Fifth and Helm. You finna meet us over here. You like, can y'all go down the street a little bit? And that is the subconscious mind. Like that is the subconscious mind. Because it will bring the, "Oh, remember you got into the accident right there? Oh, that's a bad luck spot. Oh, you better not go there, you're gonna get into another accident." It's so many things that start popping up. So you have to think of your subconscious mind as an irritating brother that's not gonna go nowhere, but sooner or later, you just learn to ignore it. You just learn to ignore that baby like, whatever that little brother does, that little sister do you just learn to ignore it. You just like, "Okay, I don't got time to play with you." So, many of us have fear of failure. So much that we rather not try at all because we don't want to fail. Nobody wants to fail. I did a video before about the fear of failure and how you have to change your perspective of how you think of failure because failure is not really failure because it's helping you to grow. It's helping you to get gain a different perspective of what life is or how you need to change something or um, how you need to go into an opportunity. So I'll tell y'all like my fear. My greatest fear is like I say this a lot, but I am truly, 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 truly with my whole heart. I'm very much so an introvert. Like I'm an introvert. Like I ain't gotta talk to people. That ain't something that I have to do. Yeah, I get on the internet and talk and I just go, but guess what? I can't see y'all. I don't know if y'all looking at me. I don't know if y'all listening to me. I don't know. Maybe the numbers tell me, but either way, I'm not really there, you know? So I had this starting business. My coaches would always tell me, like, you have to go live. And they still kind of get on me about going live. And I'm like, well, I gotta be on live and then I gotta be talking to people and then they're gonna be looking at me and I'm gonna be looking, I can know they there because, like I just this real fear of, oh, I gotta really interact. You know what I'm saying? Like I really have to interact. And I am and not even like shy or like when I get out in public and I'm talking to people, I'm very like networky, very, you know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes like when I get to that level, I gotta get off to myself. I gotta branch off to myself. But I know myself that way. So I was avoiding, like, for years going live. Like, I'm running a business. No, I need to be on live. No, I need to be doing videos. No, but I don't wanna do it because it's like, ugh. Then I would do a video. Listen, I would do a video and I would keep it in draft for, like, weeks, right? For weeks, days, sometime months. I had a friend come over. She was like, "Oh, let me see your phone." So, like, because I'm telling her about my fear. This lady posted all of my videos. I was like, "Oh my like, I was like, "Why did you do that?" But it helped me. It helped me start to remove that fear. Now I can get up here and I can do this video and I can do a live and I can do all this other stuff. Do I still feel some anxiety sometimes? Of course I do. Of course I do. Then sometimes we self-sabotage ourselves because we have fear of success. And I know like that sounds crazy because who is afraid of having a good life? We are. We are. When you're so used to things going wrong or you're so used to one set life, you're afraid. You're afraid when you get ready to step into something new. You're afraid to release and be like, okay, wait, this is different. This is not what I'm used to. But wait, this is going to help me be successful. A lot of us entrepreneurs, when we get to a certain level, we are afraid because we're like, oh my goodness, like I'm really doing this. I'm really doing this. This is really happening. But is something bad going to happen? Is something going to take this? So then we start missing opportunities because we're so afraid of the success that is coming our way. So at some point, we have to push through that. And I know a couple of years ago, that used to be my thing is telling people like push. Like you have to push, you have to break the barriers, you have to break free from the distractions. You have to say, I'm just gonna do it scared. Like I'm going to do it scared. What would people expect of me if I succeed is always a question. Because for whatever reason, we have this thought in our mind that we're not gonna lose people along the way. And we are. Success comes with like really seeing who people are. So you're 100% going to lose people. When you start to change your life and you start to be different and you start to stand out from everything that you're used to and everybody, oh, they're going to say stuff like, oh, you think you all that. You think you better than us. You think you this. You think you that. You blah, 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 blah. Those are not your friends. Run away from them. Block them. Do not talk to them anymore. Do not connect. Just get into a lonely space until your tribe comes. Because who cares what people are going to think of you if you become successful? Because they should be happy for you. They should want you to have the good life. I think one of the biggest jealousies of a person being successful is marriage or winning money or the new fad. Everybody was so excited about, certain people were excited about TikTok not working. And so people were really getting to see who their friends were because they were hearing things like, oh, now how you going to make some money? Oh, making content is very hard. I did this recording at least 8 times. Like seriously, it's extremely hard. It takes a lot of focus because it has to be just right. But you can't allow people to choose whether you're going to be successful or not. So who cares about what they say? It's not about what people will think. It's about you. Another question that will come up is, will I have to keep proving myself? No, no. Because after a while, you're gonna get tired of proving yourself and you're just gonna be like, you know what? It is what it is. If you have to prove yourself to anyone for anything, why? What is the purpose of that? You're only proving to yourself that I can be more successful than I was last year. I can be more successful than I am this year. These questions create anxiety, which makes you start to self sabotage. I digress, y'all, because see, I will go deeper and deeper in that, but I know we got to move forward. We got to move forward. Another thing that will make you self sabotage is low self worth. A lot of times we think that we love ourselves. We really think that. We're like, I love myself because you know what? I treat myself to dinner and I don't take this and I don't take that and none of that. But sometimes we're not going into those deep things. We're not going into those things like, do I feel worthy? Because if you don't feel worthy or something, you are definitely going to self sabotage. If you don't feel worthy of love, if you don't feel worthy of respect, if you don't feel worthy of kindness, if like you're just going to every time someone loves you or every time someone tries to respect you or every time a successful thing comes up, you're going to run. You're going to run. You're going to self-sabotage. You're going to get into this mode where you feel angry, you feel mad, or you feel like you have all these emotions going on. Stop and breathe. Stop and breathe and ask yourself, am I self sabotaging? Why am I creating this fear? Do I feel worthy of this thing? Sometimes people push good things away because they don't feel like I'm worthy. I don't feel like I'm good enough to have this. If you don't believe you deserve happiness or success, you will find yourself self-sabotaging your progress every time. A person constantly overcommits to others because they don't value their own time. You have to know that you are valuable too. You have to know that you're valuable too. You have to know that you are deserving. And if this don't get you there, I got a podcast my very first podcast I did was Worth, Worthy, and Wonderful. And you can go and listen to that podcast on every platform. There is a podcast. Just really listen to. I think that was literally my very first podcast. And I remember getting feedback from that podcast, how people were like, listen, I was crying. I was literally in tears listening to that podcast because I felt like you were talking directly to me. So go back and listen to that podcast, Worth, Worthy, and Wonderful. Comfort zones. Now, this is where we really start to self-sabotage. It's because we don't feel comfortable. I know y'all heard me say it. I know you hear other people say it, especially motivational speakers, because you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable in order to get to the next level in life. You're not going to be comfortable all the time. But if you don't start getting uncomfortable, you will never experience anything. I remember the first time I went on a helicopter, right? Well, the first time I was going to go on a helicopter, let's put it that way. The first time I was going to go on a helicopter, I remember we're at this place. It's a bunch of us. We finna go on this helicopter ride. We about to go over some mountains. We about to do this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I'm afraid of heights. I don't want to go. I'm scared in the elevator. I literally am like, come on, elevator, do your thing so I can get off here. So I'm afraid of heights. I'm not, I don't think I'm finna go on no helicopter. So all my friends left. They went on the helicopter ride. I'm just sitting there like, they came back with these like cute pictures and all this stuff. And I was like, I should have went. I should have went. So the next time I went on a helicopter ride, I had to go by myself because I just had to go by myself. But I could have went with my friends and had a good time. Staying in familiar patterns feels safer, even if those patterns don't serve you. Listen, staying in familiar patterns feels safer, even if the patterns don't serve you. Why are we doing things that don't serve us? They don't serve you. Yeah, you feel good, you feel safe, you feel like I'm here and this is good for me because I'm used to this and this feels comfortable for me. But you're not expanding. You're not creating success. You're not creating wealth. You're not creating knowledge. It's not serving you because you're constantly going in the same cycle. Understanding why we self sabotage is the first step. Now, let's focus a little bit on breaking free from it. Breaking free from it. Because we definitely want to be able to break free from the self sabotaging. Before we can fix self sabotaging, we need to recognize it. So I'm going to give you a few things to recognize because once you hear this, you can't unhear it. So once you start gaining knowledge, you cannot unhear the knowledge anymore. It's there. Okay. It's definitely there. Procrastination. You delay tasks, telling yourself you'll do it later. So this is something that I'm always constantly working on with myself, but I'm always constantly working on it with my kids because I'm trying to make sense of why would you wait to do something that you can do now and then you can continue to do everything else you want to do later. So let's just push and get it done so we can go ahead and you don't have to hear me saying, hey, come wash the dishes. Hey, you didn't wash the dishes? Why you not washing the dishes? It's 11 o'clock. You're not washing. Like you don't have to do that. And as it pertains to your life, do it now. Do it now. Don't wait for something to happen. Don't wait as the time progresses. Don't sit there and scroll on your phone. Do it now. When you start listening to that first mind, if something tells you to do something, do it that first time. You may feel like, oh man, I don't want to. Like today, I did not want to go to Walmart. I don't like Walmart, but it is the closest store where I can get, like groceries or everything at one time. But I just don't like Walmart. It's just not the store for me. I'd rather go to Target. So I'm in my car. I go and I get me something to eat. And then I'm sitting in my car in the parking lot after I eat. I'm going, "Ugh, I gotta go to Walmart." I'm looking at the GPS. Yes, I still be driving on the GPS. I'm looking at the GPS and the GPS saying 8 minutes. And I'm like, I should just go home. I should just go home and I could go to Walmart tomorrow. I don't feel like going today. It's cold. I'm thinking of every excuse. And I had to stop myself and be like, you know what, Demasha, go now. Go to Walmart right now. Although I did go to Walmart and I got things that I didn't need. Usually I go to Walmart, and this is probably one of the reasons why I don't like Walmart because every time I go there, I spend $60 or more. It's like ridiculous. And then I come home with nothing. But today I spent $21. So I felt happy. I felt happy. Like, okay, maybe I can go to Walmart on another day, but I doubt it. So I had to not procrastinate in order to get done what I needed to get done. Because tomorrow, when I got off work, I'm looking at my schedule. I got to go to a basketball game. So had I not done it today, then tomorrow I would have struggled at doing it because now I'm pressed for time. So do it now. Negative self talk is you constantly criticizing yourself or creating doubt. Like you're creating doubt and constantly criticizing yourself. I have no clue why we do this. Why do we talk to ourselves in such a manner that is disrespectful or not supportive or not even not healthy? You got to shut that voice off. And sometimes you have to talk like I tell people all the time, they say like, "Oh, I talk to myself, but I talk to myself in my head. I don't talk out loud." You have to hear it in order to change it. You talking to yourself in your head is not supporting you. Like you literally have to say, "Listen, Demasha, get yourself together." And when you start hearing it, it starts changing because now you're talking to your conscious self. People say it's crazy. I say it works. I'm always like, "You know what? You really need to do this and you need to do that," and I get it done. When I started talking to myself in my head, I forgot. I've already forgot what I said I was gonna do. Talking it out loud and writing it down speaks to you consciously. Talk to yourself positive. When those negative thoughts come into your mind, they have no power unless you give them power. So you have to change the trajectory of it and say, "You know what? When that negative thought says you're not worthy, I am worthy. I deserve this. And if I'm not worthy, then I'm about to be worthy. I'm about to get worthy. I'm about to move like I'm worthy. And I'm gonna take care of this thing this time. I'm gonna appreciate this thing this time." Talk to yourself in reality. A big self-sabotaging thing is overthinking. Now, I can say sometimes I overthink because I'm a thinker. I spend time by myself, so I'm always thinking. I'm always like, okay, yeah, right." So, overthinking, you spend so much time analyzing like all these little parts that you never take action. So if you're gonna be an overthinker, you gotta be overthinking and moving at the same. You gotta keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Okay, I'm overthinking, but at the same time, I am taking action. It's not hard. Yes, you have to train yourself. You definitely have to train yourself to not be an overthinker or to not waste time. Pick a struggle though. Pick one battle at a time because there's no way for you to conquer both of them at the same time. So if you're going to focus on overthinking, focus on overthinking. If you're going to focus on making action, start making action. Avoidance. You steer clear of situations that could lead to growth or success. And it sounds crazy because people are like, who's doing that? People are really doing this. And it's really hurtful for them and they really regret it after they do it. They'll be in a situation where they can be very successful and they'll break away from. They'll find everything wrong with the situation. They'll pick out all the nitpicky things that are not really important, not really going to make a difference, but they'll pick them out and they'll say, "You know what? I'm just not going to do it because um, um, they don't really know why." Literally, they don't know why, but they're going to avoid this situation because they are fearful of the growth. They're fearful of the success. They're fearful of the power that comes with it. Destructive habits. Now, this is a big one. Oh boy. Overeating, overspending, other habits that keep you stuck. We do a lot of things. A lot of us do a lot of things that keep us stuck, that keep us in one motion. We're around people that keep us stuck. I always tell people, like, I sing a song all the time, and it's an old song that I learned when I was younger, and I didn't understand it until I got older. Imma sing a little piece for y'all, but I ain't no real singer for real, so don't be laughing at me. But the song is, "Make new friends, but keep the old ones." You know what I'm saying? One is silver and the other is gold. Nobody telling you that you have to separate from your friends that you've known your whole life. Most of my friends I've known, I think one of them is probably 5 years is the less that I've known my friends. Most of my friends, I've known them since I was in middle school, high school, some of them elementary school. Some of them elementary school. So I'm not saying you have to separate from those people. You just have to get people in your life sometime that are going in the direction that you're going. And then you have to learn how to love people where they are. Not changing them or forcing them to be anything other than themselves, but understanding that in order for you to grow, you cannot have destructive habits. Overeating, it's time to go to the gym. Overspending, I don't like spending money. I don't like leaving the house because every time I leave the house, I feel like I spend money every time I leave the house. If I stay in the house, I don't spend money. If I go out the house, there's something that you have to spend money on. It's a destructive habit to me to just overspend, like spend stuff that you don't have. And, like you don't want to put yourself in a stuck situation. So you don't want to self-sabotage by having these destructive habits. Here's a journaling exercise to try, right? Write down one or two habits you know are holding you back, right? One or two habits that are holding you back. Then write how those habits make you feel in the moment versus how they affect you long term. So here goes again. Write down one or two habits you know are holding you back. Then write down how those habits make you feel in that moment versus how they affect you long term. And you don't have to write it down if you don't use pen and paper. You can talk it into your notes on your phone. I think even the Android has notes, so you can talk it into there. But I want you to breathe when you're doing it because I want you to be completely honest with yourself about this. Be completely honest with yourself. All right, so let's dive into some actionable strategies to overcome it. These aren't quick fixes though, okay? These are things that, like you have to learn to do over time. Maybe set an alarm to do some of them. These are just like, let's work on it. I'm committed to it. Let's do it. First one, increase self awareness. So, it's so many ways that you can increase your self awareness, but I'll give you some that I do. Journaling. I love to write. I have a couple of books all over the place that I be writing poetry in, doing different things. Sometimes I'm just doodling. I might be writing a name and circling around the name. I might be writing a quote that I heard and just kind of circle. Whatever, journal, meditation. Meditation helps. I know people like, I don't know how to meditate. I don't know what to do. I fall asleep during meditation. I always tell my son when he tell me that, I'm like, good, because that means you're really relaxed. You fall asleep, you fall asleep. But YouTube University has plenty of things for you to meditate, plenty of things for you to learn how to meditate, or therapy. And I'm going to say therapy slash coaching because sometimes people don't like to go to therapy. Sometimes people rather deal with a coach. So pick one because all these things can help you uncover why you self sabotage. It's okay to ask yourself questions um during like moments in your life to like pause. I always tell people like if you can't reflect at the end of your day because you feel like things are still not going right throughout the day, reflect after each situation. Take a moment. I think people are afraid to say like I need a moment. Not me. Not me. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. We're gonna get back into it because this is how I take a moment. So all day long I'm talking to people. From the time I wake up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm consistently talking to people, whether it's through text, whether it's on the phone, whether it's through an email, whether like, I don't know, they might send a telegram because they want to talk to me. No matter what, I'm always talking to people. But I always take a break when I go pick my son up from school because at that moment, I don't want to talk to anybody. But I have a cousin that I love so much, and her and I talk in the morning for a few minutes. And then we usually talk during the time of me picking up my son for a few minutes. And I say for a few minutes because I always tell her, like, hey, I love you, but I'm about to get off the phone. I'm going to listen to some music and kind of relax my brain from having conversation with people. It's okay to tell people that. Like, it is okay to say that. Sometimes we get so caught up in how people feel that we negate our own feelings. And so this is where this self-sabotaging starts coming from. This is where these moments where we feel like we can't be alone. I gotta be talking to somebody. I gotta do this. No. Sometimes you just need a moment to reflect. What fear is keeping you from moving forward? What fear is it? Write it down in the journal. Meditate about it. Reflect on it. Talk to your therapist. Talk to a coach. Now, the other one is challenging your negative beliefs. Replacing thoughts can be very hard, but it's doable. Replace your thoughts like, I'm not good enough with I am capable and growing every day. And I know that sounds like an affirmation, right? It's like, I don't do affirmations. I don't do affirmations. I don't know about affirmations. But listen, if you learn how to change things to I am a good person. I am capable. I'm not telling you got to say all these big words because I know I was talking to somebody the other day and they was like, I can't use all those words like capable. I am secure in my feelings. I was like, you don't got just talk how you talk. I am happy. I am strong. Because sooner or later, by you saying these things, you're going to want to expand your vocabulary. You're going to be saying stuff like, I am exuberant, powerful, and mighty, and walking through a valley of like eventually you will get yourself to the point to where it's like I want to be more impactful with myself because now you're being intentional with replacing your thoughts. Me, I think the biggest thought that I have to replace is lately I've been working on I am not shy. I am not shy. I have to stop telling people that I'm shy because it's not that I'm shy. I'm just an introvert. I'm just a quiet person. I've been this way my whole life. My whole life I've been a quiet person. So it's not that I'm shy because shy is just fear. So I'm not afraid. I'm just an introvert. I have to I can be around people for a certain amount of time and then I have to get to myself. I like to be with people. I love people, but then there are moments when I just want to be by myself for a couple of days. I enjoy eating dinner by myself. I enjoy being able to be in my car and listen to music and repeat songs 10 times and nobody's in there that I have to move to their rhythm. I enjoy things like that. I do enjoy things like that. So it's about you overcoming that limited belief. Me saying that I'm shy is limiting me from talking to people because now I'm like, "Oh, I'm shy. I don't wanna talk to anybody." But in reality, I'm not shy. I'm just an introvert. So I intermingle until I can't intermingle anymore. And you have to learn that about yourself. Set clear and realistic goals. And so in a couple of days, I'm gonna do a video about how to set goals, like how to really set goals, and we're gonna break through it. Listen to the video. Learn what a clear goal looks like. Learn the steps into setting the goal. Because sometimes, like lately, I've been seeing people setting goals. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are my 10 goals. Or they got long term, short term, and right now goals. And then they just got them numbered. Let me tell you something. When you're setting clear goals, you have to break it down. If I say that I am, and I'm looking at my vision board, um, I'm gonna be a boss girl. We just gonna pick that one. I'm gonna be a boss girl. What does a boss girl mean? What does that mean? And what are the steps that I need to take to achieve that goal of being a boss girl? So that's what it means by breaking the big goals into smaller, actionable parts so that you can achieve them. And then celebrate your small wins. People have the hardest time celebrating themselves. Celebrating yourself is like, oh my God, I don't want people to think that I think I'm cocky or I'm better than them, or I think, who cares? Who cares what people think? If you don't celebrate yourself, nobody is going to celebrate you like you are because nobody has no clue what you've been through. They don't know like where you're coming from. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They don't understand. They can't fathom in their mind. They don't know. So you are the only person that can say, you know what? I did my big one. Last year at this time, I was doing this. This year at this time, I'm doing this. I did my big one. I did it. Because sometimes people only see the surface of you. They only see the surface of where you've come from. They haven't seen the whole thing. They don't know about the personal battles. They don't know about the battles in your mind. They don't not in front of people. They don't know about you not wanting to, they don't know. So celebrate yourself. Celebrate the moments of you building. I'm proud of myself. I did this. It's important. It is important. Share your goals with someone who will keep you accountable. Learn to accept an accountability partner. Someone who is going to tell you, like, no, you're wrong for that. Don't do that. Remember what you told me? Remember how you said you wanted to do this? Remember, you and they're not trying to be mean to you. They're just reminding you of the goals that you set. But a lot of times we get mad at that. We don't want people reminding us of what we said we wanted to do positive in our life because they wrong for letting us know. I don't understand that. I'm not functioning well with that. So you have to set your clear goals, but on top of that, celebrate your small wins and then have someone that you're accountable to. Someone who they can say to you like, "Listen, I know that you got this destructive behavior, but at the same time, you told me you wanted to change your life. You told me you wanted to do better." And then surround yourself with people who are going to uplift you. That is so important. It's so important to have, like, positive people in your life. It's so important to have people that really display what real love looks like, what strength looks like, what encouragement looks like. Yeah, I understand that sometimes people are not given the same resources and they don't come from the same background, but the one thing about it is you know love when you see it. And I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about when your accountability partner sees you doing something wrong and they tell you like, "Hey, remember you want to change your life, right?" Yeah, it's gonna irritate you for a second, but you have to do better. I keep thinking about this story about my friend. Well, it was a long time ago, but a long time ago, I always say a couple of years, but a long time ago, I used to smoke cigarettes. And all my friends, my kids, like people, my coworkers, they would all like hide my cigarettes. They would either hide them or they would break them. And I used to get so mad. They would say stuff like, "You shouldn't be smoking, like, you too pretty to smoke, like, you need to do something different, like, that ain't it, you need to do better, you killing your lungs, you gonna get cancer." And I used to be so irritated, like, so irritated. But when I really thought about it, like, they really cared about me. They really cared. Although I used to get mad because they breaking the pack of cigarette I remember my kids, they broke the whole pack. I was like, "I just bought them cigarettes and they just broke my whole pack of cigarettes." I remember my friend, she stole them and then she crushed them on the side of my car, and she was like, "You just gonna" like, "No." And I remember being frustrated, but I also remember reflecting later on in the day, like, they just irritated my soul, but they right. They right. So surround yourself with good people, like people who want to see you win, and they're displaying the fact that they want to see you win. So that was a lot. So I want you to take a deep breath with me, right? I want you to think about a step you can take today to stop self-sabotaging. Maybe it's journaling, reaching out to a friend for support, or maybe it's forgiving yourself for a past mistake. I don't know what it is, you do. But as you listen to this podcast, I want you to start thinking about what can I do in my life right now, today, to stop self-sabotaging. But take a deep breath because that was a lot. We went over a lot in a little bit. I want you to remember that overcoming sabotaging isn't about perfection. Like, it's not about you being perfect. It's about progress. This thing takes baby steps. If you've been self-sabotaging your whole life, or if you've had bad things happen in your life your whole life, this is something that you have to train yourself to get out of. That means every day when these negative thoughts come up, when these negative emotions come up, when you start overthinking, like you have to say, all right, I got to change this thing. I got to talk to myself better. I am wonderful. I am not an overthinker, because now you're bringing that thing to the forefront of your mind. So we're going to do a small little like call to action, because I want you to create a space for yourself to be able to be you. But I want you to also understand that you are transforming into the real you. I'm talking about the you before all of the baggage, the you before all of the trauma, the you before all of the hurt, the you before the fears. When you think about like when you was a kid, right? You didn't have no fear. You was like hanging out with your buddies, y'all riding bikes, y'all doing this, y'all talking loud, you doing whatever. And then as you got older and things started to attach itself to you, is when you start replacing it with fear, with anxiety, with trauma, with doubt, with negativity, with all of these things that are kind of like, ugh, ugh. So now we're working on getting past them. But can I get back? Am I gonna like wait, what am I supposed to do here? And it's hard to bring these things together. Even right now, you're listening to this podcast and you're going like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like she crazy. But you can. You can and you will. You can and you will. It's definitely going to happen for you. But you have to be able to say, hey, I need this to happen in my life. And I need this to happen in my life right now. I need to stop self-sabotaging my dreams, my reality. I need to be committed to me. I am worthy. I don't have low self-worth. I want to become more self-aware. I want to create a space for you to be you, but allow me to create that space. Because I'm telling you, it is okay. We all go through these moments. Even though I know what self-sabotaging is, sometimes I have to like say, oh, Tamasha, girl, you just self-sabotaged. Overthinking, because we're human and stuff is going to happen. And emotions are going to come up and frustrations are going to come up, and it's just going to happen. So whatever you have, you're taking a sip of your wine, you're eating your breakfast sandwich, you're drinking Sakai Divine tea. I don't know. I want you to take these action steps and I want you to implement them into your life. If you want to meditate, set an alarm. I'm going to do a 10-minute meditation every day. If you tell people, like, I need a moment to reflect on what you just said, it should be okay. You should be able to tell people, like, I just need a moment to kind of process that. That should be okay. And if it's not okay, them ain't your people. Accountability partners are great. Find you one, a friend, a family member, somebody who you don't know, and y'all just share common interests. You can be accountable to them and they can be accountable to you. And that's okay. That is okay. It is okay. I definitely want to thank you all for like spending this hour with me on Zip Mouth Motivation Podcast, powered by 101.5 Indie Radio. If today's episode resonated with you in any way, share it with a friend, leave a review, connect with me on social media. It's Zip Mouth Motivation on every platform. On every platform, Zip Mouth. They let TikTok back on for a little while. Zip Mouth Motivation LLC is my business page on Facebook. Zip Mouth Motivation on Instagram, Facebook. You can find me, Demasha K. I am an open book, so none of my pages are blocked or there's no secret. I don't lead no secret life at all. Maybe I should lead a secret life, but I don't lead a secret life. So definitely like leave a review, leave a comment. A lot of people jump in my inbox with questions, and I'm fine with that. Um, let's inspire a movement of people who refuse to settle for anything less than full potential. If we can do a movement like that, this thing could be so powerful. But it takes one step at a time. But if you join with me, I join with you. We connect, you connect, we can really do this thing. Again, powered by 101.5 Indie Radio. Check us out. It's some great hosts on there. They have other shows filled with music and music that you never heard before. Because when I'm listening to some of those shows, I'm like, I never heard this song before, but I like it. I definitely like it. So until next time, stay motivated, stay focused, and remember, you got this. And don't worry about what people think about you, because we don't even care. Because at the end of the day, it is what you think about you. I love y'all.